February 2024, a Hells Angels clubhouse in Stockton, California. Federal agents move in, 50 firearms seized, 4 arrests made. January 1st, 2023, Raleigh, North Carolina. A member of the Pagans Motorcycle Club is gunned down on a public street. New Year's Day turned into a murder scene. July 2025, Florida's Bike Week, Mongols versus Warlocks. Gunfire erupts at a gas station. 28 arrests follow. These aren't isolated incidents, they're just the beginning. Connection loop. While America focused on fentanyl and street gangs, a different threat quietly expanded. Biker gangs adapted, evolved, and strengthened their grip on criminal enterprises worth over $1 billion annually. The leather vests and Harley-Davidsons? Just the surface. What lies beneath is a sophisticated criminal network that law enforcement calls one of the most dangerous domestic threats in the nation. Main body. The numbers tell a chilling story. Over 300 active outlaw motorcycle gangs operate across the United States today. But the real power lies with what authorities call the Big Four: the Hells Angels, Outlaws, Bandidos, and Pagans. These organizations aren't just motorcycle enthusiasts. They're designated criminal enterprises under federal law, prosecuted using the same RICO statutes designed to take down the mafia. The Hells Angels remain the largest, with over 2,500 members spread across 230 chapters in the United States and 26 foreign countries. The Outlaws control the Great Lakes region with more than 1,700 members in 176 chapters. The Bandidos, founded in Texas, claim between 800 and 1,000 members across 93 chapters. The Pagans dominate the East Coast with an estimated 200 to 250 members in 41 chapters across 11 states. But membership numbers alone don't reveal the true threat. What makes these organizations particularly dangerous is their criminal sophistication and willingness to use extreme violence to protect their territories and operations. The Mongols Motorcycle Club deserves special attention. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has called them the most violent and dangerous outlaw motorcycle gang in the nation. With approximately 5,000 full-patch members worldwide, the Mongols seized control of Southern California from the Hells Angels in the 1980s. Their membership consists primarily of Hispanic males, many former street gang members with extensive histories of violence. March 2024 brought a shocking revelation when San Bernardino County Sheriff's Deputy Christopher Bingham was arrested. The 18-year veteran law enforcement officer had allegedly infiltrated his own department while maintaining ties to the Mongols. During the March 23rd raid at his 29 Palms home, investigators seized 160 firearms, explosive devices, and a fully patched Mongols vest complete with the MFFM patch. Mongols, forever, forever Mongols. This wasn't just corruption, it was penetration of law enforcement at the highest levels. The violence between rival gangs has escalated dramatically in recent years. In October 2024, federal prosecutors unsealed an indictment charging 16 members of the Hells Angels and their support club, the Red Devils, with murder and racketeering in North Carolina. The charges stemmed from what authorities called Operation Halo, an investigation that revealed a standing order within the Hells Angels to attack, injure, and potentially kill any Pagans members they encountered. Failure to comply could result in assault or loss of status within the gang. The January 1st, 2023 murder of Jonas Padilla, a Pagans member, was no random act. 5 Red Devils members were charged with murder in aid of racketeering and discharge of a firearm causing death. But the violence didn't stop there. On July 22, 2023, 8 Hells Angels members attacked another Pagans member in the parking lot of a Dairy Queen restaurant in Wade, North Carolina. The assault occurred in broad daylight, in a public location, demonstrating the brazenness of these criminal organizations. U.S. Attorney Michael Easley made the threat clear. The Hells Angels consider themselves to be part of the 1%. Unlike the 99% of law-abiding motorcycle riders, this indictment alleges that the Hells Angels use violence to protect their power and their territory. Each defendant charged with murder faces a mandatory life sentence if convicted. The pagans have undergone their own dramatic transformation. A 2024 New Jersey State Commission investigation revealed that the pagans nearly doubled their membership in recent years through aggressive territorial expansion. Once primarily based in South Jersey, they have pushed into Bergen County and territories traditionally controlled by the Hells Angels. Law enforcement experts reported more incidents of violence committed by the pagans during an 18-month period than the previous 10 years combined. The pagan structure is particularly noteworthy. A ruling mother club of traditionally 13 senior members dictates all policy, discipline, and leadership appointments. Membership is typically for life. There's no quitting, only expulsion. This creates an organization with absolute loyalty enforced through violence and intimidation. The financial sophistication extends beyond drug trafficking. These organizations engage in weapons trafficking, prostitution, money laundering, explosives violations, motorcycle theft, insurance fraud, kidnapping, robbery, counterfeiting, contraband smuggling, extortion, and contract murder. They've moved into white-collar crimes, including mortgage fraud and identity theft, creating lower visibility and higher profitability. Their connections to traditional organized crime families further amplify the threat. The pagans have documented alliances with La Cosa Nostra, families in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, New York, and New Jersey. These relationships provide muscle for mob schemes and grant the pagans access to wider criminal networks and resources. The challenges for law enforcement are substantial. These organizations maintain strict codes of silence. They use violence and threats to intimidate witnesses. They employ associates and support clubs to conduct criminal activity, insulating full-patch members from direct prosecution. They've even penetrated law enforcement agencies, as the Bingham case demonstrated. Federal authorities have responded with aggressive prosecution strategies. The Department of Justice targets these organizations using RICO statutes, treating them as criminal enterprises rather than social clubs. The FBI's Safe Streets task forces use sophisticated investigation techniques, including consensual monitoring, financial analysis, and wire intercepts. The goal isn't just arresting individual members, it's dismantling entire organizations. The sentences reflect the seriousness of the threat. In the Clarksville Mongols case, sentences ranged up to 32 years in federal prison. The 15 members of the Grim Reapers Motorcycle Club in Indiana received over 155 years, combined for methamphetamine trafficking. The federal government is even pursuing forfeiture of clubhouses as proceeds of criminal conduct. Yet despite these efforts, the gangs persist and adapt. When law enforcement cracks down in one area, they expand in others. When drug manufacturing becomes too risky domestically, they partner with Mexican cartels. When their core territories face pressure, they push into new regions. The pagans' expansion into territories traditionally controlled by the Hells Angels demonstrates this adaptability. The violence shows no signs of decreasing. The 2015 Waco shootout between Bandidos and Cossacks left 9 dead. The 2023 Red River Memorial Day motorcycle rally shooting killed 3 and injured 5. These aren't back alley confrontations. They're public shootouts that endanger innocent bystanders. In February 2025, the Bandidos faced another major indictment in Houston just days after Florida arrests, demonstrating the relentless pace of law enforcement operations. But for every arrest, for every conviction, the organizations endure. They've survived 8 decades through adaptability, violence, and absolute loyalty to the Outlaw Code. The FBI estimates approximately 33,000 violent gangs operate in the United States today, including street gangs, motorcycle gangs, and prison gangs. These organizations use violence to control neighborhoods and boost illegal money-making activities worth billions of dollars annually. The outlaw motorcycle gangs represent a unique threat because they combine sophisticated organization, international reach, extreme violence, and deep-rooted loyalty that makes them exceptionally difficult to dismantle. U.S. Attorney Michael Easley's words from the North Carolina prosecution capture the ongoing battle. These groups don't keep us up at night. We keep them up at night. But the reality is more complex. While law enforcement celebrates victories, the organizations rebuild, adapt, and continue operating. The leather vests, the motorcycles, the club colors, they're symbols of something darker. A criminal underworld that generates $1 billion annually, corrupts law enforcement, floods communities with methamphetamine, and uses murder as a business tool. The threat hasn't diminished in 2025. If anything, it's evolved. These organizations have weathered decades of prosecution, adapted to changing drug markets, expanded internationally, and maintained their grip on criminal enterprises across America. The question isn't whether biker gangs remain a major threat. The evidence speaks for itself. The question is whether law enforcement can stay ahead of organizations that have proven remarkably resilient, adaptable, and willing to use whatever violence necessary to protect their billion-dollar criminal empire.